Good afternoon, sir. My name is Miss Tia Livian, and today, well, with your permission, I will be interviewing you on a major topic that is currently on the rise in Guyana, and it has been an influence to our citizens' lives. Now, can you please state your name for me?
Hi, good afternoon, Miss Livian. My name is Mr. Rasley Ferguson.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson. Now, the topic for today will be the cost of living in Guyana. That brings me to the first question that I want to ask you. Now, how do you describe the current cost of living in Guyana?
Well, I deem myself to be an honest person, and so my reply will be honest and straight from the heart. So I would describe the cost of living as very high right now in Guyana, and I think it's due to the main focus of the government and everyone on the oil and gas sector. As the foreigners and the expatriates are here, a lot of the produce in terms of food is being carried out to sea. So right now there's a shortage. I think there's a shortage of food supply in Guyana, and there's not a big focus on the agriculture sector as there should be. So food expenses, common food items such as food and vegetables and fruits and greens and basic daily needs are on the high.
All right, so basically you're telling me that over a year or two you've noticed a great increase in cost of living, right?
Yes.
So now, how do you feel about your income at the end of a month when you are faced with different bills and personal necessities that you need to get done?
Well, I would personally say I am lucky or blessed to have a decent paying job, so I have a decent salary that could meet my expenses, but it is still high in a sense that my entire salary finishes on a monthly basis, because all of my salary goes into providing for my family, and almost all finish on a monthly basis. So that's the honest opinion.
So if this happens for you and you work for a moderate amount, what do you think happens in a family that may not even get an average amount of income?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If anybody's working for less than 100 or 150,000 or less than 150,000, to me that don't make no sense per month, because that money can't sustain you in this economy, because things are so small, things, little things, basic food items, basic needs are expensive. So anybody working for less than 150,000 can't survive in this economy.
So do you rent, Mr. Ferguson?
No, I don't.
Then your bills may be so, Mr. Ferguson, then I could imagine a family that has to pay rent and bills. That probably is a very tight position at the end of the month.
Yes, it goes back to what I was saying. If you're working for less than 150,000 and you're paying rent, I don't think that makes no sense. Especially, I would say, a single mother with children, she would struggle in this economy because basic things she can't afford.
True. So let me ask you something. To cope with your living expense, what are some of the major sacrifices you had to make?
Well, some of the major sacrifices I had to make was try to reduce on some of the pleasurable activities like going out and eat. I would try to more eat at home, try to buy my basic grocery at home. Some of the sporting events I would not attend. I would like try to fill my tank with gas, so that gas burns slowly.
So yeah, I'm not interrupting you, but gas. So that means you have your own vehicle.
Yes, I have my own vehicle.
How have you seen putting gas in your vehicle? How do you make that happen? Like, how do you do it every month? Do you do it every week? How is gas?
Yeah.
How do you set aside? I know that you budget for that, but do you think that gas has been a little too expensive?
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's a little low, but it's still expensive to drive, because what is happening is that if without the support of my other half, my fiance, that's why I say I can't see somebody supporting a family of three, a single mother supporting a family of three. I find it rough on her, because without the support of my wife, I cannot be able to sustain my transportation or gas expense monthly.
So then also taxis are expensive, because to go from A to B, the other day I was in town and I wanted to go from the park to GRA, and I was told that that's $2,000. Now all of that poor people are struggling with. That's my opinion, right? Because if I can't catch a taxi to go somewhere and it's a distance, then I gotta walk, right? And that's more strenuous on me. So I think that they're also exploiting us, like the taxi drivers and so, right? I think that's also exploiting us when it comes to the prices that they have, right? So Mr. Ferguson, what are some suggestions you might have for the government, or you think of some policy makers to help make cost of living a little more manageable for citizens, especially the ones that with a low income?
Yeah, well, you see, some policies the government could take is get the for example, you brought up taxi drivers exploiting the commoners, catching cars or so for the regular citizen. What they could do is enforce transportation fares or prices, like for certain areas, you know, like if you're moving from A to B, this should be the fare that all transportation
it should be one fare.
Yeah,
if it goes for one base, it goes for all bases.
It has to go for all taxi drivers or all bases. That this is the fare from here to there. So they should regulate this expense.
What about the supermarkets? What about the food sellers with groceries? What do you think about tax and not tax but VAT?
Yeah. Well, I think they should remove VAT on certain essential items, which the VAT is not on certain items, but they should remove VAT on certain essential items that people might need, regular items that people might need in the house daily. You know what I mean? To support themselves and so forth, like basic food items and cleaning items and certain items. They should remove the VAT or sales tax from these items so as to make it easier and the small man.
Okay, Mr. Ferguson, understandable. So thank you for your patience, and thank you for your responses that you may have given to us. We appreciate it, and I do hope that you have a great day.
Thank you, Miss Livian. It was a pleasure to be a part of this interview.